You're watching NASA TV.
Good morning and welcome to Mission Control Houston. I'm NASA Shaniqua Vereen and we're bringing you live coverage today of the 254th Spacewalk in support of the International Space Station Assembly, Maintenance, and Upgrades. You're currently looking live as NASA astronauts.
For Duke for comm check. Go ahead. Hey, Duke, we think we've recovered our KU forward link. If you wouldn't mind giving us a comm check on space to grounds 3 and 4.
Suited up in the suit with the red stripes will be EV1 or extravehicular crew member 1 today. He's on the left of your screen, a little out of focus. And then you'll see Frank Rubio in the unmarked suit today as they prep currently for their spacewalk. The crew is currently running about 30 minutes behind schedule, which could mean a later start time than the scheduled 7:05 a.m. Central Time to exit the hatch today.
U.S. Spacewalk 81 will be conducted by EV1 Josh Cassada and EV2 Frank Rubio. EV1 exits the airlock and gets handed one of the bags in preparation for the EVA. And the second bag, the strut bag, gets handed out and put on EV1's body restraint tether. EV2 egresses the airlock, and that allows EV1 to start translation up the CETA spur over to face 1 of the ISS truss. Josh translates along and stops at a handrail to hook up EV2's safety tether and his safety tether, and continues his translation path. As he makes his way down the truss, he translates along and gets out to the end of the S6 truss and tethers the strut bag. Meanwhile, Frank Rubio closes the thermal hatch and makes his way up the CETA spur to face 1 to follow the same translation path that Josh just translated along. He makes his way out to the S4 truss and stows the cable bag and retrieves a pair of cables for the 3A beta gimbal assembly. This is in preparation for the ISS rollout solar array that will be installed in a future EVA. He hooks them up on the mounting bracket, routes 1 on the right side and tethers it off, and then routes the one on the left side. Frank translates out with that cable bag and temporarily stows it on the S6 truss. Meanwhile, Josh climbs up onto the 1 Bravo BGA and drives the H-Fixture bolts. This is in preparation for installing the mod kit assembly. When Josh is finished at the beta gimbal assembly, he leaves and joins Frank on the truss and starts assembling the upper triangle. They take the pieces out of the strut bag and bolt them together into a triangular pattern. Once these pieces are put together, Josh will ingress the articulating portable foot restraint in preparation for attaching the upper triangle. Frank hands the triangle up to Josh, and Josh installs it with his pistol grip tool. Once this is in place, Josh will egress the foot restraint and help Frank retrieve several of the other struts as part of the assembly. Frank will get into position and hand one end of the lower strut up to Josh and get into position to drive his bolt. Working together, the two crew members will install the lower strut and bolt it in place. Frank will apply the final torque on the bolt and get into position for the mid strut. Again, working together, the two crew members will install the mid strut and drive the bolts to put it in place. Once this is complete, the two crew members retrieve the struts for the right side of the mod kit. They will repeat the process by installing the lower strut first and driving the bolts to torque it into place. The two crew members will follow that up with the right side mid strut, working together to get it into place and driving all the bolts. Meanwhile, Josh will egress the foot restraint and retrieve the ISS rollout solar arrays that will get put in place in preparation for deployment of the ISS rollout solar array when that arrives. This is very similar to what Frank did earlier in the EVA, where he'll take one of the two cables and route it over to the right side and tether it in place. And then he'll do the same to deploy the cable on the left side. Once this is done, the crew members will start collecting their gear and stowing it in the empty bags to bring back to the airlock. Frank collects these bags and puts them on his body restraint tether. He makes his way back to the airlock and stows them inside. Josh retrieves the articulating portable foot restraint, puts it on his body restraint tether, and takes it back to the crew aids and tools translation aid, stows it, and then makes his way back to the airlock to complete the EVA. Frank ingresses the airlock first, followed by Josh. The crew will close the thermal cover and then close the hatch on the inside.
If you're just joining us, you're looking live inside the Quest airlock, and you currently see Koichi Okada working with Frank Rubio in the unmarked suit as they try to power cycle his HECA or his helmet camera. He will be camera number 20 today. And you see Nicole Mann in the back with the red shirt on as she helps Josh Cassada in the suit with the red stripes, or EV1. He will be helmet cam number 22 today.
If you guys need steps, we'll give you some steps shortly.
Okay, Aki, we copy. It's in work. And also, for your essay, when I put Josh in the crew lock, he asked me to turn on his helmet lights, and they would not come on. So I went and I rechecked all connections and wiggled and pushed them together, and then his helmet lights did come on. I didn't notice, there was nothing disconnected. I didn't notice anything that was abnormal. So his helmet lights are on now, but I wanted you to be aware in case he has a problem later in the EVA.
Again, they're attaching the lights and camera. You'll hear them call out to about a HECA. That's the HD camera attached that will give us views of the spacewalk today from the astronaut's point of view. Once that is attached, we then will go through the procedures to attach the SAFER, or the Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue, to Frank Rubio as well, and we will then move him from the equipment lock portion of the airlock, you see, to the crew lock session where we just saw Nicole Mann move.
I'll throw it.
Josh, do you have a blank display, or are you seeing a message right now?
Blank display, but I just had a double tone that I could not see, of course, because the screen was blank, but I did throw it.
Okay, Josh, we're going to run a procedure for your display loss during power transfer. I'm going to give you a heads up here. You're going to be running open, but do not perform your cuff checklist, warm restart for comm failure. That's page 28, steps 4.3 to the end. So open, but do not perform.
And page 28, I'm going there now. Do not perform yet.
In support of station assembly, maintenance and upgrades has begun. Cassada and Rubio now will work to open a thermal cover and make their way outside the space station hatch to begin their work for the day.
I'll see you out there in a minute, Frank.
Sorry, Josh.
Thermal cover now open, and they are making their way out of the hatch.
Be hindering me a little bit. I'm going vertical.
Yeah, if I can help.
And I made it.
Awesome.
The crew now 15 minutes into today's EVA as they exit the hatch currently. The crew had to rectify some displays as they switched to internal powers. The display module is the control panel for the mini spacecraft in which they are inhabiting during the spacewalk today. The EMU, the switches, control, and gauges are on an electronic display on the EMU, and astronauts can operate the primary life support subsystem from that module. So that's now back up and running. And the crew was given the go to exit the hatch.
I'm ready for cable bag. Understand we're going to 5, 5, 4.
Copy that. Cable bag coming your way.
And Josh, for you, we'll have you turn on your HECA as well.
Okay. I've got the bag out. If you don't mind, I'm going to put that on 554.
Absolutely. You got it.
And we see EV1, that's Josh Cassada, was the first to exit, and he will now receive some materials, the struts and bags that will be used in their spacewalk today.
I'm grabbing it. It's closer to your hand right
Yeah,
now.
I got it.
Thank you.
You're tethered to it?
It is tethered. The big hook is connected. So the one you want to release, just the one that goes back to the airlock. It is cleared for your egress.
Copy that. Coming out.
Good.
Heading aft. Heck of a view.
That brings a big smile to my face. Looking good, guys.
Used to restrain their feet at their respective workstations today. Another acronym you'll hear throughout the day is BRT, which stands for Body Restraint Tether.
Outstanding. For your EV1 anchor hook, you're looking for S3 handrail 3011. That's nadir of the starboard seated cart. Should be kind of a vertical handrail. Yeah, absolutely. The strut bag is going on the outboard non-radiator corner, and use the integral straps on the bag to handrails 2057, 2013, 2011. (2011) will be kind of in the middle of the IEA, or in the middle of the outer edge of the IEA, and 2013 is the corner.
Currently seeing dual boxes, the helmet cams of EV1 Josh Cassada on your left and Frank Rubio on your right. Both have a pistol grip tool in hand, preparing to do work. Currently, Cassada is going to be removing 4 bolts to remove the 1B H-Fixture needed for the mounting bracket for the future IROSA upgrades. And currently on the right, we see Frank Rubio, who has the strut bag in hand, where he is continuing to build out or put together, assemble some of those struts before they can install it to the 1B mass canister. Helmet cam views as Josh Cassada EV1 tries to free and remove the H-Fixture from the 1B mass canister.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so you saw me pulling pretty good there. She is not coming off. Happy to pull harder, but I don't know that the combo wrench is going to pull harder than maybe it is. Pull harder than I am.
Yeah, copy, Josh. Let's go ahead and try the combo wrench just for some additional mechanical advantage.
Okay, talk me through that, where you want it. The center pad, is that right? That target?
Cassada has used its pistol grip tool to untighten and remove all 4 bolts, and now he will use the combo wrench to pry the H-Fixture away from the GSE pad, or the ground support equipment pad.
Dina, you copied the question about the combo wrench?
Yeah, we do. You're going to put it into the H-Fixture with the handle pointing away from the prying direction.
Like that.
Yeah, that looks good, and then you'll be prying away from the mass canister, away from the tether point.
Right. It actually doesn't feel...
Let's confirm that we're all happy with these bolts. These bolts are...
Yeah, Josh, if they're all popped out, then we are happy with those bolts. We are now second-guessing what we thought about the wedges being fully in, so sorry about that. Maybe you do need to grab the pliers, and we'll try pushing them in a little further.
Two turns on M3.
Copy 2 on 3.
On 1.
Copy 2 on 1.
And 2 on 4.
Copy 2 turns on M4. Frank, there will be no changes to your PGT settings. You'll be going 3 to 8.5 additional turns to torque on M1 through M4.
Ground IV Zena Cartman just relayed to the crew the big picture that she was hearing from EVA officers here in the room. The duo will not do any collar bolts, but instead will make sure that the MLI or that multi-layer insulation and wire ties are installed on the mid strut on the left side, and they will bolt in the right strut as well. Again, they will not install any collar bolts, and this is due to about 1 hour being needed for that right strut to be installed, and about an hour and a half needed to clean up and get back to the airlock.
You think so? Yeah. That's 4 turns on mic 10.
Copy 4 turns on mic 10. We're just looking for 2 turns on each.
Oh, I apologize. I went 4. Do you want me to back out 2 on that? 3.7 on the torque.
Copy 3.7, 4.5 to 5 turns, green light. That's a good bolt on M11.
Copy. Understand installing a grounding pin on the mid right strut.
Copy,
in
Josh.
the block from the mid right strut.
Affirm.
Expedition 68 flight engineers Josh Cassada and Frank Rubio of NASA began a spacewalk at 8:14 a.m. Central Time to assemble a mounting bracket on the starboard side of the station's truss assembly in preparation for the installation of a pair of International Space Station rollout solar arrays on the space station. Cassada, designated extravehicular crew member 1, EV1, is wearing the suit with the red stripes. Rubio, designated extravehicular crew member 2, or EV2, is in an unmarked suit. The duo has completed multiple tasks on their list today, but due to some early on troubleshooting, are just about 50 minutes behind their scheduled timeline.
With MLI. Hey, Josh. Yeah. Can you see my safety tether? I think it got stuck behind me coming under the, okay. And I am ready for inventorying the strut bag.
We're ready for you, Frank.
Okay, on Eva and Juliet, you have two small reds, one small red in series to a small. Okay, Fox 6 is set. Kind of a weird angle, but it's over the boot plate, if that's what you wanted. Over the TFR boot plate.
Okay, copy all, Josh. Papa Fox 6 sounds like good settings with a clocking of 6. The goal is just to have that APFR just be really low profile.
I'm sorry, you said clocking of 6. The clocking of the APFR is still as we found it, which I think was 12. Yep, it's 12.
Continue to run until repressurization begins, at which point the clock will stop. Once the crew lock is completely repressurized, the astronauts on the other side of the Quest airlock will bring our spacewalkers from the crew lock portion of the airlock to the equipment lock and will help them doff their suits, and the safers will be removed. Again, we're 6 hours and 49 minutes and 59 seconds into today's spacewalk, and we see EV1, Josh Cassada, designated with the suit with the red stripes, at the airlock, ready to ingress.
All right, Frank, when you're ready for me. And Zena, if you're ready for it, I'll go ahead and start the ingress.
Handover coming up in 15 seconds. Nice work, Josh. You see that thermal cover coming close.
Thanks. Copy, Zena, thanks. Get these reels out of the way.